Well, it's late April. We've been putting together the management plan for Indian Creek, and now it's time to get to work. We got the tractors out, we're doing a little tilling. Come along and we'll show you the project. So I've got about 3 acres of space here. This is outside my cabin. I know this is going to probably be a destination plot, probably more nocturnal, although we're not up here a lot. And every time we come into this field, we do see deer. They come out of the woods, they're crossing over, and so I know this is going to be a great location for them to come and feed. And what I plan to do is I think we're going to put soybeans here. I'm going to try to use soybeans, and I'm going to overseed them this fall with either rye or brassica, and see if I can't get those beans to express their full potential, get some pods, have that late season draw, put that nitrogen into the ground, and then I'm going to have the rye, which will be there for the fall, and the brassicas, and then next spring, when everything's dead, that rye will come up and it'll be a really early food source. You know, I've been food plotting for about 5 years, and I'm just kind of learning as I go. And I started picking up equipment here and there, and I'm going to show you some of the pieces that I use. First, I think it's just called a spring tooth harrow. This is nice, and I picked it up for about 300 bucks. Never been used or very hardly used. The difficulty of this is my tractor is a little bit small, and when those teeth grab in, it really slows me down. So I don't know if I've got enough horsepower. Then I picked up kind of a landscape rake. I got this landscape rake because in my other food plots up in my other farm that I sold last fall, Krause Creek, there was a lot of junk on my food plots, so I was going to use that to kind of remove the junk. I don't know if I'll be using that. And then finally, I picked up a cultipacker. Now, this thing is a beast. I'm going to be able to pull this with my Gator. It's heavy, it's old, but man, this thing works awesome. And then the last piece of equipment that I don't have here is a disc. I just bought a used disc that I had refurbished. They stripped it down, they primed it, and they painted it twice with John Deere green. I can't wait to get that up there. So we're doing the tiller to break the ground, but I think we're going to come back and disc it just because the disc is going to be a lot faster to work with. So then the other piece of equipment that really works great is the Gator. Now what we're going to do here is my buddy Alden and Trent, we've gone in and we've shared some of the equipment costs. So we're teaming up. My farm is earlier because it's a sandier soil, so we're working it first, then we're going to go to theirs. But we got a 100-gallon sprayer that we're going to put in the back of the Gator with a boom, and we're going to be able to spray these. And then inside, the last bit of equipment is this cone spreader. Again, I picked this up on Craigslist. I paid $300 for this. It's a 300-pound cone spreader. And I can tell you what, I can make short work of spreading lime with that. It pulls really nice and it really tosses it out. So that'll be used for fertilizing and liming. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put in 10 apple trees. And what I bought is a variety that will drop in different times of the year, so early to late. And I tended to buy, I tried to buy those that are more blight resistant, some heritage brands. So I've got Cortland's and Fireside and guys, I don't know, I'll show you in a little bit. I got a bunch of different ones. But we're gonna plant them, they grow big, so I need about 20 to 25 foot space between the trees. We're gonna plant them right down the edge of this food plot, hopefully to draw these deer out of the woods, into this apple plot, and obviously soybeans there, so that's the plan. So one of the things that I originally did when I planted my first orchard was I bought container trees. And while they're nice, because I went to the nursery and I picked them up, they're not as easy to handle as this type. So these are about 3-year-old trees. And when I picked them up, they're 5 in a bag packed with wet hay. And I kept them in my barn out of the sun in a cool, dark place until I was ready to plant. But you can see how these roots are still kind of wet, and that's key to keeping this tree viable. So if you're going to buy some trees, just so that they're so much easier to handle, find the type that are not containered. They're already root balled in a plastic bag. You can transport them much easier. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we have the root ball in, and we want to make sure that there's no air underneath that root ball. So we want to make sure we get dirt in there. So what we're going to do, I got about 5 gallons of water. We're going to pour a little water in there. We've got some dirt underneath there. It's going to saturate those roots, and then we're going to put the rest of the soil on top.
Alright guys, so here we are, we got the tree planted. As you can see, there's a little rim right here, a couple inches deep, and what's going to happen is the water's going to run down off the field, and it's going to come right down in here, and it's going to get down to the roots. And this tree it's going to grow. We live about an hour and a half away, so we're not able to come up here constantly every weekend and get water to these trees. So naturally, nature's going to take care of us, hopefully, and we'll have a productive tree farm.
So I talk about this stuff a lot, where I try to relate these projects back to adding value to your property. And I had somebody tell me once that the best time to plant a tree is the first year you buy a property. So that's what we're doing. And now we're not using this for fruit production, of course, but our hope is that when I go to sell this property, the next buyer is really going to see the work and the care and the love that I put into this land. And along the way, we're going to kill some nice bucks to show the proof of our labor. I think one of the best things about doing this land management is when you have some help from your friends. This is 17-year-old Alden Tinder. He's a good friend of mine. He's the son of one of my best buddies from high school. It's Alden's first time on the John Deere. We got him trained up. We're going to let him get to work. So here's a little bit of food plot architecture. So I'm back on my backfield. This is about a 7-acre field, and we're going to put 3 acres of food plots, but we're doing it in strips. So what we've done is we've done 1-acre fields like this and this one, and they're all converging right in this spot. And this will be a perfect spot. It's called a hub and spoke design. What's nice about it is that we're going to access from the woods. There's a little berm here, and you really cannot be seen too well over that top. So we're going to sneak in down below. We're going to come across the backs of these pine, and then we'll just simply pop up and get in the stand. And then the stand will be able to look down the fields, down each spoke. And we're going to have soybean, corn, soybean, and then we'll rotate that depending. And these deer that are going to come out of the timber won't be able to see across the field because there'll be a blocking right here of corn. So it's a hub and spoke design. It's a killer design. North is up there. Northwest winds blowing our center right off the property. And we have an easy in and an easy out access. It's going to work well. Well, that wraps it up today. So we did 5 acres of food plots today. We shared some time sitting on the tractor. Next step is liming, and then we're gonna plant soybeans and corn. And the areas that we hope to plant brassicas this fall, we're gonna have a cover crop of buckwheat, and then later on we'll come back in and we'll overseed that and or till it under, ready for those fall food plots. Hey, I hope you like these updates on Indian Creek, my new farm. And if you have questions, give me a call. As always, I want to thank you for watching. I'd like to be your guy in the land business. I'm Neil Hogger, land specialist with Whitetail Properties Real Estate, the Wisconsin Landman. Thanks for watching.